Hello everyone! Welcome to the second part of Haikyuu couples doing TikTok trends challenge. Oh man, I missed doing these short challenges. Like, I really did. Don't take me wrong, the larger videos are fun too, but challenges are challenges. Let's go! As always, special thanks to my lovely patrons and all of you who subscribe and watch these videos. You are keeping this channel alive and going. Thank you very much, and I hope you will enjoy. Kindachi would like to compliment Suna for coming with gentle challenges lately. But to be honest, he did get a bit anxious thinking about the whole thing. Of course, he had absolutely no reason to doubt Kunime in any way. Not after they explained and talked through the whole thing with therapy after Kindaichi showed himself as an absolute insecure wreck, but still. Perhaps he was more anxious because of himself rather than his fiancée, but the more he was sure he should do the challenge. He just had to wait for Kunime to come home from the store. Hopefully he doesn't take it the wrong way, that would be bad. Well, that's up to you to make sure it won't, so you better do your best. A wide grin spread across his face when he heard the door opening. As fast as he could, he wobbled to the kitchen to welcome his beloved home, despite the pain throbbing in his whole lower body the whole morning. Do you need help with anything? No, it's fine. It's not that much anyway. He measured him with a concerned look. You should sit down. You're hurting again, aren't you? It's not that bad. Yeah, you say that every time. Go sit down. I'll come to you in a bit, okay? Slightly disappointed, Kindaichi nodded and slowly walked back to sit on the couch, trying his best to conceal the pained huff threatening to escape his mouth with every step. How Kunime learned to recognize he was in pain so well was beyond him, but he would lie if he said it didn't warm his heart every time. He was aware Kunime still doubted his ability to care for others, but in Kindaichi's eyes, he was the perfect caretaker. Kind, attentive, and oh so careful. Fortunately, once he settled down, the pain did too, leaving him alone for the time being. Damn this all. Before the dark clouds could settle on his mind, Kunime flopped down next to him, a pack of caramel candy in one hand and his phone in the other. Do you still have work to do today, or are you free? If nothing comes through, then I'm free. Why? Are you planning something? Not really. Just to make sure you are getting enough rest. What's that supposed to mean? It means that I found a new series I want to watch and you'll be watching with me because I need to talk about it to someone. And I don't want you to feel guilty about messing on work stuff. Kindaichi blinked in confusion, but then laugh bubbled in his throat, his heart fluttering. Okay. Sounds good to me. Deciding to do the challenge as soon as possible, he reached over his side to Kunime, who immediately snatched the candy bag from his reach. You said you don't want anything in the store when I asked. Mine! Kindaichi snorted a short laugh. I was going for your phone. Why? I want to look something up. For work? No, for myself. That seemed to be the right answer as Kunime nodded and handed the phone to him before relaxing into the throw pillows again, happily munching on the caramel cubes. And Kindaichi couldn't be more overjoyed with the challenge result. They were just in the middle of browsing venues, searching for one that would suit their needs when Taichi's phone first rang with the challenge messages. He wasn't necessarily against it, but he would appreciate if the timing was a bit better. He had other things to focus on than look for an opportunity to do either of the challenges. It still felt somewhat unreal that they were actually planning their wedding now. Sure, the ring on Taichi's finger was a clear sign it was going to happen sooner or later, yet Taichi still couldn't believe Hayato actually wanted to marry him sometimes. Him, with all his issues, from the health-related ones, physical and mental, to his family's drama. What about this place? That arc and pond look really pretty. Snapped out of his thoughts, Taichi turned his attention back to the laptop screen where Hayato was showing him one of the venues. It is, but isn't it a bit out of hand for us? Yeah, it might be. Okay, never mind. And this one? It's not too big and it has a patio you can rent a grill and lights for. Oh wait, never mind, there's a rose garden next to it. You'll suffer the whole day if we stay there. Never mind, off the list you go. Next. Unsure if he should be glad Hayato was so considerate he would give up on a wedding surrounded by roses for him, or feel guilty for making the search so difficult, Taichi stayed seated by Hayato's side with his eyes glued to the screen, trying his best to give his input on the places. That was the least he could do. Are you tired? He blinked, his brain only slowly catching up on the question. A little bit. Sorry, I didn't sleep well tonight. Humming quietly, Hayato closed the laptop and opened his arms in a silent invitation, which Taichi gladly accepted and slumped against his fiancée's chest, soothed by the steady rhythm of his heartbeat. It's all a bit much, isn't it? I'm sorry, I might have rushed things a bit. No, it's okay. Just give me a bit, I'll be fine. You sure? We don't have to continue today, it's not a big deal. I am sure. Don't worry about me. Hayato sighed at that, pulling him a bit closer. That's difficult with you. I know you don't want to burden me, but you should know that you can lean on me whenever you need. That's what partners are for. Now definitely feeling guilty, Taichi bit hard on his lip, a sudden despair bubbling to the surface in his chest. I'll try. To his surprise, a gentle kiss landed in his hair. Okay, good. Let's get some snacks and then we will see, Sounds good. Oh, could you peel me an orange? Please? Hayato paused halfway to the kitchen, tilting his head. Orange? Yeah. I would peel it myself, but my hands hurt a bit. That seemed to be enough for Hayato. He nodded, and not even a minute later, a little bowl full of orange pieces landed in front of Taichi, along with some other fruits and salty snacks. And Taichi could about cry. Slightly torn about his feelings concerning the challenges he was given, Kita carried on with his work on the farm, using the monotone work to think things through. He was sure the twins, and Aran probably too, would roll their eyes at him for thinking hard about something so trivial, but that was just how he liked to go into things, especially after so long since the last challenge he did. When even was it? 2 years ago? The others sure had much more practice in the meantime. Not that he didn't like to pull an occasional prank on his boyfriend, but those were usually so gentle Aran didn't even notice he was being pranked. Maybe I should ask the twins for some ideas. But not now. After the season is finished and we have time to rest. Sighing contentedly, he wiped the sweat from his forehead and stretched his back, giving the farmland one last proud look before he collected his stuff and headed back into the house to cool down and wait for Aran to arrive. He glanced at the oranges in their fruit basket, contemplating the available options. His main and only concern was whether Aran would be too tired to take part in anything, no matter how simple it was. Of course, Kita would never hold it against him if he didn't peel an orange for him, considering all the other things his partner did for him ever since high school. But he did find himself realizing he would be somewhat disappointed if it came to it. We will see, I guess. He took a quick shower and then lay down on the couch, fighting sleepiness until he heard the front door open. Welcome home. A soft hum came in return, followed by rustling and shuffling footsteps coming closer to the couch. I see you've made yourself comfortable. Raising his eyebrow, Kita looked up at his boyfriend, noticing the tired and perhaps even slightly frustrated lines around his lips and eyes. I was waiting for you to come home, although I didn't expect such a cold greeting. Did something happen? With a heavy sigh, Aran shook his head and leaned over the back of the couch to kiss Kita's forehead. No, I'm sorry, I'm exhausted today, and seeing you like this, I got jealous, I guess. Which is stupid, because you've been working here the whole day, right? You deserve rest too. Sorry. It's okay, no harm done. He slowly sat up, wincing when the sore muscles in his back started to ache with the movement. He didn't realize it before, but the whole week of working bent down was starting to be felt. Considering he still had almost as much work ahead of him as behind him, it might pose a problem. You should sit down if you are tired. I can peel that orange myself. Orange? Oh, yeah. I was hoping you could help me out with it, but it's okay, I can manage. A large hand landed on his head, ruffling his hair a bit. Sit, I'll do it for you. I could use some fruit too. With that, he headed to the kitchen, leaving Kita a melting mess. Dasho decided almost immediately he was going to try the phone and food one, primarily because he didn't want to bother Terushima with the orange peeling. His boyfriend seemed somewhat absent-minded these past few days, making Dasho wonder if he was going to get reaction at all, besides making him worried. It wasn't often Terushima would fall silent for longer than 10 minutes, and that happened only when he was super focused on something. So the fact he had been almost silent for the last hour was concerning, to say the least. Dasho didn't dare to interrupt since he had no idea what it was about, but the longer he watched Terushima tap something into his phone while looking completely absorbed in what he was doing, the more his chest constricted. Stop, you're being so unfair. How dare you think like that? But a tiny voice in his head couldn't be silenced. Biting on his lip, he grabbed one of the snack packages from the counter and hesitantly headed to the table, settling opposite Terushima, who didn't even notice his presence until he pushed the packet into his vision. At the same moment, the phone disappeared from Dasho's view under Terushima's hand. Oh, what's that for? Eating? Terushima let out an awkward chuckle, only tightening the knot in Dashio's stomach. He wasn't sure what was happening or why the fact his boyfriend hid his phone when he came close bothered him so much, but both successfully stole the stable ground from under his feet. Stupid question, huh? Sorry, I haven't been paying you much attention today, have I? Are you planning something for the evening? I'll join you, just give me a bit to finish this. Dashio's chest constricted even more. Not really, I thought we could just watch something. Ah, okay. Yeah, sounds good. Wanna pick a movie this time? He lowered his eyes to the phone screen even before he finished speaking, throwing Dashio into a complete despair. What's going on? What's wrong? Taking a shaky breath, he reached for the phone, only to flinch when Terushima grabbed his hand. For a second, neither of them spoke. Terushima's eyes then widened as he quickly let go and cleared his throat, but the damage to Dashio's heart was done. Sorry, reflex. I thought we were reaching for my phone. I was. He let his hand fall, gripping the fabric of his sweater so hard his knuckles turned white. What did I do? What is it that I can't know about? Understanding flashed across Terushima's face, swiftly replaced by panic and worry. Wait, no, it's not what you think, I swear. There's something you can't see right now. That's not making me feel better. Sugu. His face twisted in pain when Dashio flinched away from his touch, leaving his hand hovering over the table. I know it doesn't look good, but I swear I would never went behind your back, ever. It's not a bad thing. Trust me, please. Dashio wanted to, with his whole heart. He couldn't imagine his life without Terushima anymore. But keeping secrets wasn't what Terushima normally did, and it scared him to no end. He pulled away completely, clutching his hands in his lap. Okay. The air suddenly felt much heavier between them, no matter Terushima's following chatter. For how small their garden was, Kenji couldn't believe how much work was needed to be done to prepare it for summer, especially with the wild weather they've had for the past 2 weeks. Though he couldn't really complain, as Aona did most of the heavy tasks, refusing to let him even carry the filled watering cans, which left him with the more mundane work on the patio. And of course, he had the awesome opportunity to watch Aona's biceps flex under the t-shirt as he diligently dug holes for the new trees they bought recently. That was nothing but a treat. Come drink something, or you will get dehydrated. The soft rumble of Aona's laugh made his heart flutter. I don't think it's possible that fast. Maybe not, but you still should hydrate. You are working hard. I don't want you to faint because you didn't drink enough. His words earned him a gentle smile, and even more gentle hug when Aona joined him in the shade of their patio. Alright, I guess I better listen. Kenji no less than melted into his fiancée's arms, relishing the warmth and safety it always brought. Dating a walking teddy bear really had a lot of advantages, though one had to stay on Aona's good side. But Kenji was one of the few lucky people who didn't have to worry about that. Right? You are thinking too much. Huh? How can you even tell? Your forehead gets scrunched. To support his claim, he pressed his thumb against Kenji's forehead. Makes it easy to recognize. Kenji sighed. It shouldn't be a surprise Aone could read him like an open book. They had spent over half of their lives around each other after all. It would be strange if Kenji was the only one with the ability to read the other's face. It was sweet, sure, but on the other hand, it meant he couldn't hide anything, no matter how much he wanted. Have you thought about the kid question you asked me before? He dreaded asking that. Dreaded bringing it up again because it would lead to nothing but trouble regardless of the final decision. But he couldn't let it hang in between them without addressing the elephant in the room. To his surprise, Aone shrugged. I would leave that for after our wedding. You sure? Yeah, there's nowhere to rush. He kissed Kenji's forehead, gently pushing him towards one of the chairs. Before Kenji could say anything, he disappeared into the house, only to return in about 5 minutes with pieces of various fruits, including several oranges, in a bowl. Hydration and vitamins. Unable to hold back laugh, Kenji grabbed one of the forks and dug into the bowl. You really read my mind sometimes, you know? Happy to provide. Having a choice, especially in challenges, was something Suna soon realized was a great way to make sure everyone participating agreed smoothly. As for Suna himself, though, he went into this challenge with only one in mind. Sure, the orange could be interesting too, but definitely not as fun as the food and phone one. He knew what Osamu's reaction would be. Everyone who knew Osamu would know. But that didn't take anything away from the fun Suna was about to have with the trend. In? Come here, please. With a quiet groan, Suna pushed himself up from the couch and waddled into the kitchen, finding Osamu in full swing with their dinner. Before he could ask why he was called, Osamu piled a tray full of bowls into his hands, adding 2 glasses and plates, and then motioned to the table. Suna raised his eyebrows at him despite Osamu being already turned away, torn between amusement and grumpiness. That's it? Not a word? I'm busy, Rin, and I have faith in your ability to understand. Suna quickly evened his expression to hide that Osamu's words flattered him, and instead put on his best pout. That doesn't mean you can treat me like a servant. I'm your boyfriend, remember? I deserve a few nice words. How about if you don't carry that tray over to the table, we won't have dinner? How rude. He turned on his heel, careful not to spill or break anything, and marched out of the kitchen, carrying the tray on the coffee table instead as a little act of defiance. And to make the challenge easier for himself. Rin, we aren't eating on the couch. Suna gave him an innocent smile. But you said to bring the tray to the table. Yeah, dining table. You didn't say that. Really, Rin? Really? Still smiling, Suna shrugged and snatched himself one of the bowls with curry and a spoon before leaning comfortably into the pillows. I don't see an issue with eating here once in a while. It's much more comfortable, isn't it? Osamu sighed, but then slumped next to Suna, ruffling his hair as if they were still kids. You're horrible, you know that? And yet you still love me. Unfortunately. Suna clicked his tongue, but his heart fluttered when Osamu kissed him, the taste of rice and soy sauce lingering on their lips even after they parted. Making himself even more comfortable, Suna waited until Osamu was more or less focused on the food and then reached in the direction of his phone just so late next to one of the plates. Oi! As expected, Osamu was fast to react and snatched the plate away, shielding it with his body as if it was his child, and Suna snickered. Just for the fun of it, he reached towards the phone again, only to get another bowl taken away in front of his hand. You have your own food! Hands off! Unable to hold back any longer, Suna laughed like he hadn't for a long while, gently pinching Osamu's cheek to help him get rid of the pout on his lips. You're like a little kid when it comes to food, you know? I was going for your phone. Osamu visibly relaxed, yet still watched Suna carefully when he handed him his phone, still covering the bowl with half of his body. It was expected, but no less amusing, and Suna's heart could melt there and then. Thank you so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed. Wouldn't be me if I didn't add more angst to more ships. But let's be honest, that's what we like. So this challenge left us with quite a big number of question marks. However, don't worry, there will be some resolution coming in the next challenge. At least for Yakulev. Iwaoi and Terushou though? Who knows? What's happening with Terushou? Give me your tips, I'm curious. If you have any requests or ideas, the request form is linked in the video description. See you next time.